So I just got my hands on the new iPhone 16 Pro and Pro Max, and wow, I kind of feel tricked. It's like a major deja vu. These might actually be the gap year iPhones. But hold up. These phones aren't exactly what they seem. They are better than they seem. And honestly, I don't know how Apple pulls it off every year. They somehow manage to sell us what looks like the same phone, yet, spoiler alert, it's a bit more than that. It feels just like the 15 Pro in almost every way until you start paying attention to the details. Let's be real, the leaks were spot on. There is no jaw-dropping new feature here. Feels more like an S model, like a 15 Pro S, if that makes sense, because all the upgrades are subtle. First impressions, this new desert titanium color is slick. Some YouTubers said it's too brown, but it's more of a gold vibe to me, and super stylish. And like the leak said, this titanium finish is shinier, more polished than last year's model. See, just a bit glossier. Personally, I don't care that much about the gloss, and honestly, neither should you. But what does bug me though is that the titanium texture is now gone. Just the color, you don't get those microscopic texture lines going around anymore. Let's play a game. Which one is the 16 Pro Max? Exactly, they're practically twins. It's almost ridiculous how similar they look. Now, I daily drive the 15 Pro Max, and the 16 Pro Max is slightly bigger. Honestly, feels the same. The size difference is so minimal, like a couple of millimeters. Sure, these new bezels make a difference, and I'm not gonna pretend bezel size is the most important thing, but it does make the phone feel a little fresher, a little more futuristic. But let's be real, most people are slapping a case and a glass on these things anyway. Those thinner bezels will be gone. Oh, and speaking of things staying the same, the dynamic island still huge. We're not seeing the change until 2025 apparently. One thing I really hoped for was a bump in brightness, and nope, that didn't happen. Same 2000 nits, and still no effective anti-reflective coating. As I'm holding the phones, I feel like something's missing. There's no case to protect them. And luckily, I have 3 ESR cases to choose from. The classic hybrid case with stash stand is a perfect mix of style and protection. This thing is super slim, like just 1.6 millimeters thin. So your phone stays sleek, but don't let that fool you, it's tough. You get protection from drops up to 11 feet. The real highlight here is the stash stand, which doubles as a camera guard, plus the stand is fully adjustable anywhere from 15 to 85 degrees, making it awesome for Zoom calls or just binge watching. On top of that, it's good air guard corners and raised edges, so the screen and camera are well protected. The Cloud Soft case with stash stand is all about comfort. It's made from this premium liquid silicone, which feels super soft in your hand. And don't worry about dust, there is an anti-static spray on it to keep things clean. It's a bit thicker at 2.1 millimeters, but still supports fast MagSafe charging. You get that same 11-foot drop protection, but this time with a grip that feels extra comfy. And it comes in some really vibrant colors too. Last but not least, I've got the Cyber Tough case with stash stand. This is the tank of the group, built with a 3-layer design. It can handle drops up to 23 feet. That's way beyond military grade. It's made from a mix of hardcore materials like a TPU shell and inner Poron lining. Even though it's bulky, you don't lose out on MagSafe functionality. In fact, it's got a 1500G magnetic lock, which is twice as strong as Apple's cases. So your MagSafe accessories will stick no problem. I really like these 3 cases, so I will leave a link in the description to them down below. Nicely done, ESR. Be sure to check them out. Your phone deserves premium protection. Thanks, ESR, for sponsoring this video. So what can this button actually do? Well, pretty much everything we were expecting. One click opens the camera, and you get this slick little flash animation. Click again, snap, it takes a photo, hold it down, and you're shooting a video. There's also a half press option that brings up zoom control, and you can swipe to zoom in or out. Double tap, and you've got a menu for portrait settings, exposures, stuff like that. To pick anything from the menu, just light press the button and swipe to adjust. I've only got the phone in hand for about an hour, and it already feels natural. And the button feels like a real button. because it is a real button. However, when you do the light press thing, you get that subtle click inside. There is a dedicated haptic engine just for this button, and it really nails that press feel. But let's move on to what really matters here, the camera. This is where both the 16 Pro and 16 Pro Max level the playing field. For years, if you wanted the best camera, you had to go for the Pro Max. Not anymore. The 16 Pro has cut up completely. Take the zoom camera, for example. On the 15 Pro, you only had a 3x zoom on the smaller model, while the Pro Max had 5x. But now, both the 16 Pro and Pro Max pack identical 5x zoom cameras. That's huge. Honestly, the 5x zoom was one of the big reasons I upgraded to the Pro Max from the 15 Pro. I'm also noticing that snapping a photo feels just a bit quicker. The difference from the 15 Pro isn't massive, but it's there, probably thanks to that super low shutter lag Apple was hyping up. I still need to test this out more in the real world to see if there is a real difference in sharpness and quality, but so far, I'm liking what I'm seeing. And that new 48 megapixel ultra wide camera, well look, I'm not the biggest ultra wide fan, but I do love a good macro shot. Macros are just fun, and the high resolution is definitely a boost for that. If you use ultra wide a lot, you're gonna notice the difference right away. For me though, at first glance, it's kind of whatever. I'm not about to start pixel peeping just yet. Another thing I'm already appreciating without any deep testing is the audio quality. Let's do a quick comparison. Here's how the audio from the 15 Pro sounds. There's some background noise, maybe a bit of wind. Now listen to the 16 Pro. It's cleaner, less wind noise. It's a small improvement, but definitely a welcome one. Now the real game changer for me is the 120 FPS 4K video recording. I just shot a video at 120 FPS and later picked the playback speed in the settings. For someone like me, a YouTuber, this is awesome. Slow motion shots are gonna look so smooth, but here's the thing. I don't think most people who buy this phone will even care about this feature. It's niche, but if you know, you know. Remember how I said the 5x zoom was one of two reasons I switched to the Pro Max? The second reason, well, battery life. Now, the 16 Pro hasn't quite caught up to the 15 Pro Max in terms of battery life yet, but the 16 Pro Max, well, that's supposed to outperform it easily. That said, I'm not really noticing a difference right now. I'll need to put the phone through its paces to know for sure. But first impressions, even if there is a boost in battery life, it's not gonna be massive. And that pretty much sums it all up. The difference isn't huge. The 16 Pro and Pro Max feel like a bit of a gamble. Buying one now feels like buying into a promise. The big selling point isn't the camera control button, the slightly tweaked display, or even the upgraded ultra-wide camera. It's Apple intelligence. But guess what? That's not rolling out until October at the earliest, and it's only gonna be in beta. Well, who knows how long until the final version hits? Could be a month, maybe even half a year. So for me, there is no real reason to fully switch over to the 16 Pro right now. I will still use it, but only because my job kind of requires me to. But hey, if you want to see the full review where I test everything and give you a real answer on whether to buy the 16 Pro, even without Apple Intelligence, make sure to subscribe to the channel and like this video. I've got you covered. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.